Imagine a world where the United States and Russia are not just global superpowers, but also neighbors. It's a reality that's often overlooked, but one that's about to take center stage as U.S. President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin meet in Anchorage, Alaska, to discuss a potential end to the war in Ukraine. But have you ever wondered how Alaska, a state that's separated from Russia by just 55 miles at its narrowest point, became a part of the United States in the first place? The answer lies in a fascinating tale of colonial ambitions, economic struggles, and strategic maneuvering. As we delve into the history of Alaska's sail from Russia to the U.S., you'll discover a story that's full of twists and turns, and one that's still relevant today. But here's where it gets interesting. The meeting between Trump and Putin is not just about Ukraine, but also about the complex web of relationships between the U.S., Russia, and the rest of the world. And this is the part most people miss. The sale of Alaska was not just a simple transaction, but a strategic move that had far-reaching consequences. So let's start from the beginning. When Russian Tsar Peter the Great sent the Danish navigator Vitus Bering to explore the Alaskan coast in 1725, Russia already had a keen interest in the region. The area was rich in natural resources, including lucrative sea otter pelts, and was sparsely populated. Fast forward to 1799, when Emperor Paul I granted the Russian-American Company a monopoly over governance in Alaska. This state-sponsored group established settlements like Sitka, which became the colonial capital after Russia overcame the native Tlingit tribe in 1804. However, Russia's Alaskan ambitions soon faced numerous challenges, including the vast distance from the capital St. Petersburg, harsh climates, supply shortages, and growing competition from American explorers. As the U.S. expanded westward in the early 1800s, Americans found themselves competing with Russian traders, and Russia lacked the resources to support major settlements and a military presence along the Pacific coast. But what really changed the course of history was the Crimean War, which started in 1853 when Russia invaded the Turkish Danubian principalities of Moldavia and Wallachia. The war's main theater of battle became the Crimean Peninsula, and Russia's defeat forced it to reassess its colonial priorities. According to calculations, Russia spent the equivalent of £160 million on the war, and Alaska, which was yielding little profit due to overhunting, became a liability. By the early 1860s, Tsar Alexander II concluded that selling Alaska would raise much-needed funds and prevent Britain from seizing it in a future war. The U.S., which had continued to expand across the continent, emerged as a willing buyer, leading to the 1867 Alaska Purchase. But here's the controversy. The sale was not without its critics. Many Americans saw little value in the vast ice sheet, and opponents of the purchase persisted in calling it Seward's Folly or Seward's Icebox. However, in 1896, the Klondike Gold Strike convinced even the harshest critics that Alaska was a valuable addition to U.S. territory. Over time, the strategic importance of Alaska was gradually recognized, and in January 1959, Alaska finally became a U.S. state. Today, Alaska's economy is a mix of natural resource extraction, fishing, and tourism. The discovery of vast oil reserves at Prudhoe Bay in 1968 transformed the state's economy, and oil revenues continue to fund public services and the Alaska Permanent Fund, which pays annual dividends to residents. But as we look to the future, we have to ask, what does the meeting between Trump and Putin mean for the world? Will it lead to a new era of cooperation, or will it exacerbate existing tensions? And what about Ukraine? Will the meeting come at the expense of Ukrainian territory? These are questions that we'll be watching closely, and ones that will have far-reaching consequences for global politics. So, what do you think? Do you believe that the sale of Alaska was a strategic move that benefited the U.S.? Or was it a mistake that's still being felt today? Share your thoughts in the comments below.